Hello, 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 and welcome. Look, I do some work with tuning forks, and I can aim these through the recording to your body. So if you've got something about your biology of your body that needs some work, uh, some healing, if you want to say, please let me know, and we'll we'll focus some energy there. And who knows, we've had some quite astonishing things happen in the meantime. Um, I'm going to read a little bit and maybe I can share this with you. Um, do I have these two forks? Let's see. I've got only one of them. I was looking for another one. And I know it's around somewhere. I bought a few extra tuning forks the other day at, I mean, they look very nice. I think it's just aluminum though. So I'm used to working with an alloy that's more suitable for the type of work I do. But hey, I'm happy with these. Um, Here's one. This is a 384 hertz. Isn't that a beautiful sound? Yeah. So you might have heard of sound healing, sound therapy in the past. Sorry about the background, man. I don't have like room for a studio here really. You would be surprised at the little space I'm in. But sometimes I do this work outside. It's better. Well, speak up if you've got something that ails you and you're willing to talk about it and experience it and give your feedback about how it feels. Um, that'd be great. We've done things like endometriosis. Someone just came up to me. I didn't even know what endometriosis was. It's an intense inflammation, kind of pain in the pelvic area. It has something to do with the pelvic floor in women, and it's just a an incredibly ongoing chronic pain that just doesn't go away. I understand. And in 1 hour and 30 minutes, I was able to cure a woman of this pain where she didn't have it anymore for years. It's been years and it hasn't come back. And it's just a it's a really simple thing. You take a tuning fork, and you think about where the person is, and you move about 5 feet off the side of them, and slowly move the tuning fork in as you as you move closer and closer to that part of their body. And along the way, you'll find disturbances in the sound. See, your body extends out like 5 feet off the sides of you in both directions, both left and right. And this is a part of your physical body called your biofield. And um, it's a place where the trauma of your past is stored in energetic um, distortions, kind of like when you play a record and the needle sits down on the grooves of the record and the record spins. It's kind of like that. And when there are distortions, it will make the tuning fork sound different. Sometimes it's a very pronounced thing. Sometimes it's so subtle it's hard to even figure it out. I do it with let's see. I'm in the chat. I don't see if you're watching. Why don't you mention where you're from and what kinds of things you're interested in terms of healing? It's nothing demonic. It's nothing like that. This is just about pure harmony, and it's about it's a very technical thing. So it's nothing to worry about. Let's see what we can do here. Let's kind of work on then if nobody's going to speak up about sorry about that. If nobody's going to speak up, I'm going to put this hockey puck under my leg securely so I can just whack it with the tuning fork. And let's think about a time that was traumatic for people. Let's think about the January 6th thing when the 4 years ago, January 6th. So this is 2005. So it would have been 2001. All right, let's do that. January 6th. We'll start out January 5th. January 5th, 2001. And each time I move this around, it'll be another hour forward. So let's be very specific about where we're going. We'll talk about Washington, D.C. time, and we'll start at midnight the day before January 6th. So this would be January 5th, just before 1 a.m., the midnight before. And we're moving forward to 1 a.m. on January 5th, 2001. And I gotta say, it really does feel like there's a lot there. All right, January 5th, 2001 at 1 a.m. You guys can hear that. All right, 2 a.m. Gosh, there's a lot. 3 a.m. Almost making my head dizzy. 4 a.m. I'm going to do that one over again. 3 a.m. 3 a.m. 4 a.m. Again, 3 a.m. 4 a.m. Diego, hey, good to see you there, my friend. 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Kind of clearing the American experience, the trauma um, from, that election 4 years ago in Washington, D.C. 3 a.m. All right, let's go 4 a.m. And the way I feel it is in the capillaries of the hand that I'm moving around, in the fingers. I come up with this way of sensing distortions in the biofields of people. I guess we're just kind of working on everybody. Diego's got a great YouTube channel. He's doing some great travel logs in Mexico. And so I encourage you guys to follow him and, get to see what it's like. There's one where he rents a bicycle in Mexico, I think in Guadalajara. And then he drives it around, and you see him going places and doing things. He's doing extraordinary work. It's so it's something that's a plain and simple to watch, and it's a delight the way that he edits them. So he puts a lot of time into it. You can tell it's a work of love, and and I think he needs you to follow him. I think it'll be great. So let's continue. Let's go with 5 a.m. Whew, I don't think I hit the hockey puck that time. Sorry about that. Again, 5. We're working on the election from 4 years ago, and the time leading up to the January 6th, the whole ordeal. 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And if anybody has something, a part of your body that needs some direct focus, let me know, and we'll work on that. Maybe it's a pattern, something that you deal with mentally that you're trying to hope to maybe change a behavior, or you're trying to maybe you've got an issue with energy, maybe adrenal fatigue or something like that. We can address that. We can address sore knees, joints, whatever. If you've had a trauma in your youth, you want to mention a particular date and time, we can focus in on that, or we can just kind of move through your whole life and try to find a place where it resonates. Chances are you've got traumas, and they're affecting the way you think, behave, the way you grow, the way you heal, and we can address that with this practice. So anyway, continuing, 6 a.m. 7 a.m. 8 a.m. 9 January 5th, but we're leading up to January 6th, right? 11 a.m. on the 5th. A.m. Guess it's 12 p.m. now, right? There, 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Going up to 2. 2. Up to 3. 3. 5. PJ. Marley says, wait to wake up. Hi, Marley. Marley came in to the show a couple days ago, and we worked on her lower back area, and we had some great responses there. It feels really good for her. And PJ says, howdy, Groove Meister. PJ, that's funny. So 6 p.m. on January 5th, 2021. Let's go to 7 p.m. 8 p.m. And if you guys feel anything or sense anything from it, let me know. Let me know. Sometimes this kind of work, there are people who have gifts who can sense something about what they're perceiving. And so, yeah, welcome those kind of comments. So 8 p.m. How about 9 p.m.? 9 p.m. 10. Oh, okay, I feel something there. 11 p.m. Midnight. So this will be January 6th, 2021. That was at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. 3 a.m. Okay, I got your message about your real given name. All right. I guess you'd like to be referred to that way. Okay, Sonia. Great. Let's see, 2, 3. If you want, Sonia, we can work on your back if you like. But I thought it'd be interesting to kind of go through this and try to clear some of the collective trauma in the United States over that election from 4 years ago. 3 a.m. January 6, 2021, 4 a.m. It was clear. It was more turbulence the day before. I'm starting to feel less. 4 a.m. 5. Yeah, there's more here to 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Back up a little bit. Continuing. 7 a.m. 7. Our traumas are how we are controlled. 7 to 8. And manipulated. 8. It makes us less able to be controlled. To 9. 9. Almost feeling a headache in my left forward brain on the left side of it. Almost like getting hit in the head or something. 9 a.m. again. Thank you, Sonia. You can help by listening, by observing. I think my theory on this is that as we listen to this tuning fork experience of the traumas, that we observe it. It's kind of like allowing someone to tell their story and helping them to get it out and to process it. So I think that's what maybe we're doing here. So thank you, Sonia. All right. I think I was at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. I'm going to start from the top of the clock, like 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that was 9. This will be 10 a.m. on January 6th, 2021. What time? 10 a.m. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 11 a.m. 7, 6, 11 a.m. 11 a.m. 3, 2, 1, 0. This is the working on the traumas from January 6th, 2021, 11 a.m. again. Interesting to know if anybody's feeling this, the anxiety or the hearing or sensing the trauma. A lot of it was staged stuff. Probably most of the trauma is from the people at home, not so much the people at the crowd in Washington, D.C. I'm using the Washington, D.C. time there to focus just as a matter of time zone correlation. I found another one of my tuning forks. And we could try another one. We've been using the 384 hertz fork that I just bought. 174, that's, Sonia, what we used the other day with you. 144 is a pretty powerful one. It's starting to get, I don't know if you can tell, it's bending in. It's getting closer on the tongs. So 11 a.m. again. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Noon. I wanted to see what's going on my phone. I was involved with a broadcast earlier today with Beth Martins and Garrett Smith. And so it's pretty interesting what she does. Getting, let's see if I can describe it. You know, it's like we have these programs in our minds about the way things have to be. And, you know, we become goal oriented at achieving these things. We just have it in our minds that got to do this, or we'll die, or you know, or something horrible will happen. And she helps us through her training to let go, to release those patterns and beliefs, so that we're not using so much mental energy focused on achieving those goals. And it's nice. She was able to back out of fourth stage blood cancer, if I can remember the type that it was, and, you know, refocus the energy in her body, you know, from, you know, like trying not to die to accepting the fact that, well, it's going to happen. And then taking corrective actions and not using all these herbal remedies like green juices and stuff, learning to stop doing all that. And I'm not sure if so much of, you know, I had to not focus on what she was saying, but I had to focus on the technical details because I do the broadcast engineering for the Love Your Liver live stream. And, but it's kind of remarkable how she's learned that to implement the things Dr. Smith talks about in terms of avoiding vitamin A, avoiding copper, and avoiding sulfur, and supporting the nutritional deficiencies that might be there in minerals like zinc, magnesium, molybdenum, selenium, and potassium. And then, the other things he talks about are using nicotinic acid to do a flush to help support the gateways, the PGP gateway, P-glycoprotein. What is that? It has a lot to do with the blood-brain barrier and allows your cells to act like policemen to kick out the toxins, to kick out the drugs out of the cells. Let's see. Sonia says here, my local politician's office just called me. Why? I didn't answer. Huh. That is bizarre. That is really bizarre. Thanks for sharing. And let's focus on maybe it's an election or something. Maybe an election's coming up. So they do phone calls, and it's going to get really crazy with politician phone calls because now they can have AI do the calls. It'll sound like a human being. It'll be way better than let me put that on Do Not Disturb. I'm so we have this ability, right, to task AI with interpreting what you say when you answer the phone and come up with some imaginative responses. Avoiding let's see, keratin. I think you're trying to say carotenoids. Yeah, avoiding carotenoids maybe, or keratin. Let's see. Let me look that up. Go over here and do it. Yeah, it wants to auto spell it and say keratin. Let's see. High keratin foods is found in animal food, especially red meat, poultry, fish, dairy products. Plant foods contain very low amounts of keratin, making a plant-based diet an effective way to reduce intake. Let's see. I don't know. I don't really do that because I eat plenty of meat and poultry. I don't eat fish. I avoid the fish because of the vitamin A, the carotenoids. I want to avoid those, and the fish oil definitely want to avoid. And the dairy products, the milk and cheese, we avoid them for their vitamin A stuff. That is a let's see, keratin supplements, those marked for energy or weight loss. There's an acetyl L-keratin or other forms of it. Limit choline-rich foods. This is an interesting thing. Choline found in eggs, poultry, fish, and dairy can also be converted into TMAO, a harmful compound linking cardiovascular risks by gut bacteria similar to carnitine. Reducing choline intake can further reduce TMAO production. Be cautious with energy drinks that have added uh, carnitine. Carnitine. Oh, there's some things over there. Uh, correct. It's a typo. Yeah. Well, interesting. I I haven't I haven't looked into that. Carnitine. Carnitine. I should probably show you what I'm looking at when I'm looking at it, right? I can do that. Share screen. And again, this isn't what I'm really promoting or anything, but Mari mentioned it. Let's see when she said this. And I could put myself down in the corner. Maybe that's a little better. Or even up on the side. Maybe I should flip all this around. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't really supplement it. I wouldn't. I would just ignore that from this point. Uh, the things I've known, I don't know. I think the things to avoid in the red meat, well, in meat, uh, are the organ meats. Some people will say to eat them because they're highly dense in nutrients, but uh, probably the converse. It's more difficult to get the toxins that are in those organs. It takes a lot of nutrition to get toxins out of your body, and it's better to limit the toxic intake than to um, because then the nutrition that you have, the nutrition that you're intaking, you can focus on getting rid of what you've already accumulated in terms of toxicity. And that's one of the main things we're driving here is the detoxification so that we can have better health. The toxins get in the way of healing, and that's one of the things that we're doing when we're shaking them. We're using a tuning fork to triangulate in on the body. Is we are shaking and disrupting structures that have and this is a metaphor. I'm speaking in a metaphor. I can't say this with absolute certainty, but I do know, I can say this, that free calcium in the body, in the blood, um, does seem to crystallize in certain places when we experience a trauma. And so you get formations of the calcium, a calcium buildup in places where it's not supposed to be uh, accumulating. So there's some thought that the trauma that happened becomes almost enshrined in these formations. And when we use the tuning fork and we're going through the biofield, we are finding a way to resonate and break up those calcium deposits, and perhaps other toxic formations of like vitamin A, for example. Oh, hello, Pam. Good to see you here. Maybe we could work on your neck too a little bit. um, how are you? And glad to see you out here tonight. Um, so it's this idea that that there are toxins. They're forming. Um, when they encounter a toxic, a traumatic event, they start to form there in some place that's meaningful, somehow meaningful to the trauma that you experienced. So what do I mean by that? So when you feel uh, a strong emotion in your body, from this point forward, I'd like you to try to figure out, where do you feel that emotion in your body? And you can start to learn about where your body stores stress and trauma, or maybe experiencing joy. If you experience a lot of joy, think about, where do I feel that in my body? Do I feel, is it in my knees? Is it in my calves? Is it in these places, and so forth? And you can start to map out maybe um, the emotions and how and where you feel them in the body. In the better. I read, Pam wrote that I'm better. Um, Pam had, I think, some discs replaced in her neck, or some rods, titanium rods were put in her neck, and she had continuous pain for a long time. And I used to do this show more regularly, and she would come on, and we would work at ways of trying to alleviate some of the pain. And one of the things she got that worked really well, one time she reported that she used this chlorine dioxide solution and was able to experience some freedom from the pain. Now, it's interesting. They talk about chlorine dioxide as being something that, kills bacterias and viruses and things like this. But the big thing that it does, it's an oxidizer, and oxidizers tend to break down toxins as well. I don't want to say break down, but they oxidize the toxins. In other words, the way I think I understand this is that they scavenge uh, electrons from uh, these metals, and so that they, metals and toxic chemicals, and it results usually in making them less toxic. It's not always the case. Sometimes they get more. Like vitamin A should be avoided at all costs um, in your foods, because it turns into toxic forms like retinoic acid in your body. It can turn into Accutane inside your body, which is a horrible, horrible drug. And this can happen endogenously, which means like in the body. Oh yeah, got your hello there on the screen too. and then cows. I'm like, how in the heck is Accutane showing up in milk when they pasteurize it, and they measure for trace amounts of it? They're finding it. So somehow the cows are out there eating, whatever they're eating, grains or grass. Um, uh, they have to be consuming this vitamin A because animals don't produce vitamin A inside their bodies endogenously. It has to convert from something they've eaten. And so, if you're in the United States, you've got all these problems with um, the milk, the low-fat milk that you buy in the store, whether it's cow milk or whether it's almond milk or whether it's some oat milk, or all these things that you buy in the store. Typically, if you look at them, they're if particularly if they're low fat. The whole milks are a different story from cows, but they're adding retinol palmitate in there, which is a form of vitamin A, and it's just one of the worst things that you could do. And here we go. And I used DMSO topically, but listening to you got me on the right path. You sang a song that helped a lot. I started singing again. Still not completely healed, but I can drive again. Oh, Pam. Yeah, that's right. I did that song with Dr. My friend Arturo Carmona Appleby. It was a let's play that, shall we? Just for fun here. Oh, you know what? They're gonna knock me down for violating. They think that I'm violating a copyright. I'm not. It's a karaoke rendition. Oh, I could sing it. Why do birds suddenly appear every time you walk near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true. So they sprinkled moon dust in your hair. Yep. Well, that's the song, and Pam really liked it, and I was thinking because Dr. Appleby, he had passed on already, and I was thinking that, well, maybe we can get his help, to work on Pam from the great beyond, and that was great. But the DMSO, I think there's sulfur in that, and typically sulfur is just going to block the detoxification channels. I think particularly of getting copper out. So that's really really sweet of you to say that it helped you get on the right path. We're all focused on trying to get better and have our health working a little bit. At least those of you who come to my show, typically that's one of your interests. Shall we continue? We were working on the. I'm glad you're here, Pam, and we can, if you want, we can focus on your neck and kind of work on that some. I think we're doing the January 6th, 2001, and I think we're at about 3 in the afternoon. Let's go back to 1 p.m. Washington, D.C. time. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 2 p.m. 3 p.m. Continuing. 4 p.m. 5 p.m. 6 p.m. 7. 8. 9 p.m. 10. 11. Explain the counting again. I forgot. All right. We're at 10. We're working through the day of January 6th, 2021. And we're up to about 10 p.m. And then what I do is I move my hand around in a circle. And and this correlates to, like, if you've ever seen those big circles that are on a side of a boat where a boat docks and the boat moves in to the position, and then someone comes out and they turn the crank and it starts to raise the boat up out of the water, you know? So I use that in my mind as a way to get that cable to start pulling, or to, pulling a position through, so that I'm at a certain distance away from a person, and bringing them closer to the tuning fork. And so in my mind, I have typically a specific distance that I'm drawing close to the fork, and so it's just this practice is very much about measuring and feeling or hearing the feedback from the sonic waves of the tuning fork. And the sonic waves move to a plasma type of energy, and the plasma becomes a thing that, as I focus on like a group of people or a particular person, then the light emanating from those people bounces off the fork and goes back to them and allows them to kind of see that time, that moment in time that we're going through, differently. Like they can see themselves maybe through, what their normal brain would have recorded at that time, rather than what the sort of reptilian part of the brain that deals with fight or flight responses. That kind of the trauma thing takes over, and so we're kind of nullifying that chaotic energy and allowing you to have a more restful, peaceful existence, even though the trauma happened. I don't know if I have any water. I'm just going to take a moment and rest. Let's take a moment and rest, relax a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if I pulled in all that charge. I mean, there was a lot of trauma in the United States on that day. It's a lot of people dealing with the news that a bunch of people were arrested at the Capitol and all that kind of stuff. And they had that one woman who, they said, what was her name? Babbitt. I think it was Jennifer Babbitt. I'm not sure the first name. And I've got a documentary that I saw on BitChute.com where they show all the footage from different angles and how she didn't really die. That was a staged thing. It was the gunshot didn't even go toward her. It would have missed. Looking at the triangulation of where the gunman was and where the hole went in the glass and where she was, and they just showed how those were little blood bags, not real blood, but fake theater blood. And so left and right, we're seeing news stories in the media where they're orchestrating fake staged events. So we don't know what's real and what's not. And so anyway, but the best we can do is kind of try to clear the trauma in the air, over the whole thing. And then maybe, the people are less manipulated because of it. What? She didn't die? My. I didn't know that. Yeah. So it's just another example of what we call crisis actors. And, crisis actors are actors who tend to show up in multiple types of events like this. And, they perform like an actor. And again, I could be duped. The documentary I saw could be like another layer of misdirection or whatever. But this is interesting. I seem to land on information that isn't well known or well propagated on either the left or the right side. You got the Republicans all upset about the guy who shot her isn't arrested, isn't in jail, and and I see this stuff on Truth Social, and so I pointed out to people, I'm like, I don't think she died. I don't think she was shot. Well, yeah, I think I hear the truth, and I think I can ferret out some of the I know what to look for. I've been in television productions a long time, and I've been around enough of the conspiracy types of research things to kind of get kind of see the blueprint or the architecture of of what a staged event might be like. Not that I could really stage one, but you can kind of spell a rat sometimes. And usually there's a reason they're doing it, And let's get back to doing some tuning fork work. Um, all right, let's keep. So January 6th, 11 p.m. And I think some of when I wanted to have water back then, I think that maybe I was really processing a lot, or I'm not sure I'm processing it, but let's do the 11 p.m. again. And in this case, I'm not really drawing the people closer to me. I'm moving through the time of the clock and kind of focusing on the whole population, not really, and in lieu of the distance, we're specifying the particular time on the clock. So in this case, as I'm moving around, I'm actually literally going back at time or moving forward in time. Got a call. Oh no, be right back. I might get some water. In fact, I'm going to. What can I play for you guys? I know. I'll play the water thing that I do. Let's see. Oh. There's some AI rendition of myself with a hat. Kind of funny. This might be fun to watch while I step away for a moment.
We're going to treat your water
Hear it?
with some energetics. So place your glass of water somewhere out here, and we're going to work to bless the water before you drink it. This may even help the water inside of you. We're going to use this device. It's a health stimulating device by the P-Rife company called IteraCare. Tera meaning terahertz, uses terahertz frequencies. And I believe what's going on here is that it stimulates the enzymes in your body. But this also helps to restructure the water. So I'll be pointing it in. Probably won't be able to hear me very well once this gets going. Here we go.
Right. Well, I'm back, and we're watching a water treatment that I was doing, the tuning fork, and that Iteracare terahertz wand, and then I've got a ring around it too, a Slim Sperling ring. So, hopefully it's working if we have our water nearby, and then you drink some water after, watching this. The idea is that it's restructuring the water that you connect with your intention. And some people say it helps, So Diego asks, "Where is your cat?" And we BB got pretty old. We had to put him down, and was getting some health issues and all. And we gave up a lot of other cats that were in the neighborhood, some kittens. But right now there's one cat, and it's in the other room. And I'm just happy that it's not in here with me trying to interfere right now. It's a nice little kitten. I mean, it's getting to be the age where we've got to get it fixed so it doesn't reproduce. So that wand is like a hairdryer, man. It's blowing air. It's kind of loud. Let's see what I have to say. There's more tuning fork stuff. Always doing the tuning forks. But see, if I want to treat my water, I don't do all this now. I just play this video. And what's really strange about what happened during this episode is that huge, gigantic snowflakes started falling outside.
Cheers. Now, leave some comments, if you will. Play this back. Have a glass of water in front of the, to play the video for your water before you drink it. Maybe if you're going to do a bath or something like that. And
yeah, treat the bath water.
The water molecules detach from the other water molecules around it, and
less sticky.
Instead of having really large compounds, crystalline forms with lots of water molecules together, this breaks them up into, making sure they're just single ones. The
blender
restructures some of the water molecules so that they have 3 hydrogen atoms to 1 oxygen. That's what I've heard. Anyway, it tastes really good.
Structured water. Yeah, the blender will.
I think I can feel it in my eyes even after taking just the 1 sip.
Oh, that'd be good. I'd like to get my eyes better.
There's a guy, you can find him online. Just look for Dr. Batman, like, the superhero guy. That's not how his name is pronounced or sounds, but the search engines understand it. He calls it, he has a book called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And, his premise is that so many of our diseases are based on lack of enough hydration. And there's times when to drink water. If you drink it on an empty stomach.
Anyway, hey, so let's get back to, I think I've lost a bunch of people. We ought to go ahead, skip ahead, and see if I can show you the snow that happened that day. It's not in this one. I did 2 of them, and I guess it was the second one. or not this one. Okay. Yep. We're back. So, speaking of water, that was a remarkable thing that I was able to feel the water get all the way into my eyes. Now, one of the other things that happens when you run water in a blender is you aerate it, so there's a lot of oxygen, and there's probably some even nitrogen that's getting into the water. I don't know if that's such a good thing to be drinking nitrogen bubbles. Those can be kind of difficult, but it's a question of whether that actually gets into your bloodstream or not. I don't know. Yeah. So what else can we do here? Well, we cleared some of that stuff. Diego, do you have anything you'd like to work on? And I should mention, after doing this kind of work with biofield tuning, it's important that people watch their balance a little bit and drink some water. Some of the toxins get released, and it helps to wash them away. Just again, reminding people, they're going to tell you that vitamin A is going to be protective of the measles, and it's much more likely that you'll probably experience the measles symptoms from taking all this vitamin A and many more. This kind of stuff is gotcha, Diego. All fine. This is like, a campaign to try to reduce the population, maybe to increase sterility in women. The more vitamin A that you take as a woman, the more it kind of causes damage in your ovaries. So you'll have less quality eggs if you're taking vitamin A. So that's one of the things, and of course, if you listen to the show, there's all manner of disease conditions that are, I think, pretty much directly responsible, attributable to vitamin A toxicity in our food. Where do we get vitamin A? It's in butter, milk products, dairy. It's in meats like liver. So avoid those organ meats. Despite what people tell you, the high nutrition is not worth the even higher toxicity levels that are there. If you can separate out the toxins from the nutrition, you might be all right. But excuse me, man, oh man. Well, yeah. Hey, listen, I think I'm going to draw this to a close here pretty soon. Diego, it's been great to have you in the audience today. Diego and I met in Acapulco, and we had some great collaborations there. We talked about cryptocurrencies and trading techniques and strategies and all that, and just a wonderful experience. Although the cryptocurrencies, it was interesting that he was saying, these trading, the trading wasn't working the way it's supposed to. There was something unusual that was going on. Oh, Diego, I don't know. Do you want to do you want to come online? If anybody wants to come into today's show, I can post a link. There it is in the chat. I suppose I can stay on longer. Maybe you'd like to talk about something. There is in the chat the link to join, and you'll be asked to use your microphone and your webcam. And if you want to do it, you've got to say yes. And then it'll share it, and I can bring you here into the show. What else? I'm working on a way to serve notices through the mail. I've got this project I call evidencebuilder.com. And for many years, I've had it up and running as an email service where you send an email to cc@evidencebuilder.com. You put that in the CC field of your email. And when you're sending an important email to someone about a complaint, customer service issue, or usually something bigger to deal with governments and maybe police brutality, stuff like that. And you want to have a record, a third party keep a record of the correspondence. That's what evidencebuilder.com does. It's kind of in its infancy. We've never been called upon to testify in court or anything about it yet, but that's the kind of thing we hope to do. Oh, thank you for the kind comments, Diego. Great show, by the way. Thank you. And you're not at your place right now. Got it. So we're chewing up your data. Yeah, you're doing a fine job, Diego, on your travel log videos. It's just remarkable work that you're doing. Nice background music and a nice pace of the switches in the scenes, and well thought out. Seemingly well thought out scenes, from one to another, showing the artwork and stuff around bridges. It's one of the things I love about Mexico are the bridges and the architectural structure of them, and even the I'm trying to think, even like the graffiti or the artwork that we find in places just looks really nice. And the colors, it's so colorful there. Very vibrant, and it's just it's a nice place. And Guadalajara, I just wasn't prepared for the size of that place and how much traffic there was on the freeway. I think I went through that city and then I parked at a McDonald's or something. I had to get a break because I was traveling in unfamiliar territory, and it was stressful. Americans, when they come to Mexico, and this could be a video that you might talk about, is that the differences in driving in Mexico than the United States. I would love to visit again. It's just, money right now is tight. And what I do have, I've got invested in XRP, and I'm waiting for that to just explode upward. And then I might have enough money to go visit Diego in Mexico. Or maybe we can go somewhere else. What do I think about the crypto summit? Um, I'm not sure what you mean by the crypto summit. The maybe you're referring to the Diego's native language is Spanish, so by summit you might mean the rise in the price. Um, I think the rise is good as long as it's not a bubble. I think we have seen some. We have seen it spike up and it, you know reaching some really nice highs, and then it's come back down and it's settling and uh, finding its footing, and maybe even some lows for the next climb up. So um, I think the XRP is going to take its seat at the table. I think we might see the long-awaited dissolution of the Federal Reserve from the United States. A bunch of bankers that have, cornered the market on banking. They did so illegally back in 2000, no, 1913 about. Um, anti-monopolistic practices. There was collusion with a bunch of the competitive banks got together and decided to become an overarching, uh, control over the whole United States banking system. So I think XRP is going to clear the need for us to even have um, the Federal Reserve anymore. So the Federal Reserve won't be there to be a clearinghouse for the checks, and will instead banks will transmit value over the XRPL, the XRP ledger. I mean, they might have some other methods for doing it, but that's a pretty extreme viewpoint, and I don't think anybody else is saying that. But you're hearing it here that the Federal Reserve isn't long for remaining here with the current people that are in power, and uh, the vengeance that the young people have toward the Federal Reserve for giving us such a false monetary system in the United States, and the utter destruction, and because we haven't built something that was based on solid ground, and people defaulted on their so-called loans and all that stuff, lost their houses in 2008. I was one of them, and I knew that it was false, and I was challenging them in court. And they brought this other judge in after my judge had committed suicide. um, the the judge that came in on my case just railroaded me right through, and well, we'll see what all happens with that. But like I say, I'm working on this tool for evidencebuilder.com. It'll be maybe an app on the cell phone, and it'll take pictures of your correspondence and provide some special services to economize and make large scale actions against a large group of actors uh, much more efficient and less costly. At least for me, I mean, I own it. If I start selling the service to others, there will be a price to be paid for that. But it's probably a lot less than notary publics would charge to do it. Yeah. Because one of the things is you're always trying to figure out, all right, so these cops beat me up in Bakersfield, California. They didn't just beat me up. I mean, they literally, my life was hanging by a thread, as my friend Stars said. And, um, to try to get an attorney to take your case on that type of thing, especially when you've mentioned, the word sovereign. Um, it's pretty hard to go up against the government. So, who are all the people that are involved, um, that are working and supporting the government's position on that, right? So, all the government employees there, their pensions, um, they derive, they earn this money, but they're working in collusion with the government. They're not objecting. They're not stopping the police from doing this kind of behavior. The taxpayers who, their properties in Kern County, California, um, they're paying to have, all these kinds of services. And so they're all, the way I figure it, they all owe me, because they're working as a racketeering operation. And I know this is a really wide net that I'm casting, but it's a lot of money. And they'd all be better off if they just capitulate to my demands and recognize that my forgiveness is worth the quintillions of dollars that I say it's worth. Because each of them will get 10, what is it, 10, I think it's like $20 million per person, something like that. It's incredible, and that's not just them, that's every person worldwide. So, yeah, we should use these horrible acts and things and start to use a monetary system that's based on forgiveness. And I think I'm starting to get the idea that if I send enough notices out and they default on these notices, that there are terms in the notices that become the law of the matter. And that becomes true in the courts if the matter ever goes into a court. I don't expect these things will have to go into a court. It can all be handled by private matters. So, in fact, I prefer it in the private. All right, I'm going to take some more water. That's good. All right, so do we have any anatomy that we want to focus on right now? Crypto Summit. I don't know any other things about the crypto part right now. I've got LinkedIn. My friend works for LinkedIn. He got me a membership on there for 6 months, paid status. So that's cool. I've been trying to contact a local doctor about some toxic issues. I had a metals test back in 2012 that showed my body had extremely high levels of lead and cadmium and uranium and nickel. So those affect the detox pathways. So hopefully I'm doing a little better than I was many years ago. We'll see. Kind of comes and goes, you know. Let's see what these other tuning forks do here. There's 128 and 136. See how these sound together. I don't know if these two are supposed to be played together. Pull this out so I can hear. Maybe just do one. Here's the other one. I hope you guys like the microphone. It's a, what is it? Samson? I'm happy with it. Seems to perform well. It's a budget. I bought it used. It was in my price range and stuff, so that was nice. There's a really low one. This is 62. I wonder if you guys can even hear it. You probably hear the overtones, not the lowest note. There's another way you can hear it. I can put this on the mic and see what it sounds like. Well, that was fun to try. There's another thing we do with the tuning forks, and that's I haven't done this in a while. Tighten up my neck a little bit. Put a boot on the end and kind of helps the lymph to move along and be unclogged. Sometimes I get into this and work on it, try to get rid of some of these wrinkles. Well, I think I need to get going. Thank you for tuning in. It's nice hanging out with you guys. We'll see you again sometime real soon. Yeah. Hang in. Joe Baker's Remedy Report is brought to you by Forgiveness Capital, where we assert the infinite worth of every one of us. And you can learn more about the things I do with health and healing and perspectives on health at health.forgivenesscapital.com. And Joe Baker's Remedy Report is a show about bringing harmony to the world through economic innovations, health tips, and increased awareness. Hope you tune in again sometime soon, and spread the word. You should use a little bit of caution. before taking this advice from the government about taking vitamin A. I consider it a natural bioweapon against our health, and you will too once you've reviewed the data. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later. Eat plenty of beef. You need to get protein. This is this thing about the measles. I got a little preview about Dr. Smith's show that's going to come up on Tuesday. One of the people that are most susceptible to this measles phenomena, I'm not going to call it a virus, it's a phenomena. It's is the lack of proteins in the body. So you need to have your protein. You probably need to eat about 1/3 of a pound of beef a day. So somewhere in that range, and then make sure you're keeping up with small amounts. Keep it like under the recommended daily allowance of zinc, potassium, magnesium, selenium, and molybdenum. Okay, and avoid things like avoid copper, avoid sulfur, avoid vitamin A, avoid there's another metal or another substance to avoid. Starts with an M. It's crazy because somebody gave me a box of mineral supplements, and one of these were in there, and it's a toxin. It's like, what the heck? And the way I look at toxins are things that interfere with your detox pathways. I think that's an undesirable effect, because your body's always generating toxins just by living, and your body has to be able to excrete those and get them out. And if that's all being log jammed, then you're just gonna start looking older and getting less healthy and having more brain issues and all that kind of stuff. So let's charge on together in the direction of health. I do see a comment down there. Diego says, great job. All right. Thank you, Diego. We'll see you later. I'm so happy that you joined me today. Bye. Good to see you, man.